Good afternoon, everybody. This is the Warren Brothers Broadcasting Network. Oh, hello? All right, come on. Can't hear myself from my own damn headphones. Is that better? I can hear the music. Well, that means my headphones are working. Hey, there we go. Good enough. All right. So here we are. This is the Sunday SuperShow SausageFest spectacular show. If you are tuned in here, my brother Paul is not with us. I have no idea where he is. I have no idea what's going on with him. He's all over the place in Pennsylvania somewhere. I have no idea. He's been in Beaver Falls. He's been in Chesterfield and Cloverfield, something field, all over the place. Pittsburgh, I don't even know. Speaking of Pittsburgh, they're playing the Colts right now. They're trying their best to lose that game. So that's happening. And I guess that's all I've got thus far with that. There we go. That's better. Turn the phones up. That way I can. There we go. Using the old noggin there. Know how to run a board. No damn board. Don't know how to run it. Anyhow, so I got a Browns-Broncos preview for you. And what's happening in that game, at least from how I can understand it, is that the Broncos certainly do have enough things going against them in this particular situation here. Broncos, sure, they're hosting this game. Home team should have some home field advantage. Who knows? I don't. I quite frankly think the Brownies stand a pretty good chance of winning this one. Let's break it down. Here's what's happening. At least my pregame analysis, and throw out all the stupid crap that's happened these last 2 weeks. Landry guaranteeing a victory going into New England. That never happened. Baker Mayfield and Tony Grossi getting into a shouting match, because even though they're two grown men, they can't so much as just have a conversation with one another. And then what's the other one that stood out to me? Oh, that blew out. All right. So all these things that are not about the game. Old BJ getting up at a podium saying, "That's my quarterback." Oh, just stupid nonsense. All the same jokes, all the same storylines, all the same crap. Oh, that sounds like I have a phone call. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Let me mute this music here, George. Get this over here so we can talk here. All right. Hello, George. George Orwin?
George Owen.
Owen Orwin?
Pittsburgh Pirates games.
Oh, okay. George Orwin. I should know that name with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yes.
Well, all right there, George. What's going on, George?
Well, your brother Paul is here with me for some weird reason. I came by here. Maybe it's because my younger sister Alex just dropped him off in here, and then suddenly this British butler, Mr. Buttfinger, came by.
So, all right. So we got George Owen here on the line. He's a commentator with the Pittsburgh Pirates over there. That sounds plausible enough because I couldn't name who it is. And so you and Mr. Butterfinger and my brother Paul apparently are spending time together in Pittsburgh or something.
I live in Beaver Falls.
And that's that.
My son Leslie has more interest in the accordion.
Well, I don't know what that has to do with anything. Is it that you're upset about your son not having interest in football?
Well, I'd like to. Welcome Pittsburgh. We win. Are you playing tonight?
Wait, are you asking me, even though you're such a huge Steelers fan, if the Steelers are playing tonight? I mean, the game's on right now. I think the Colts have just taken a lead or something. I can't hear it because you're calling me and bothering me while I'm trying to do a Browns pregame thing here in the Cleveland market. So I don't. It's actually pretty rude. I don't go to Pirates games and like shake my ass in your booth or something.
Well, I'll get his position in Cleveland. I will be a Tribe commentator next year. I'm hoping to be so. And I got a bottle of whiskey as well.
That's all fine and well and good, I suppose. What does that have to do with my brother? You called to let me know that my brother's safe and sound at your home in Beaver Falls. What is he, a guest of yours there or something?
Yes, he is. He's in the finals of the Super Bowl.
Oh, so he's sitting on the can right now. Well, that's weird that you know that, but all right.
I think that's what that means. I don't know what the hell he said about that.
Oh, okay. It's he confuses you even.
Yes. Well, I'm from Pittsburgh, damn it.
Oh, I think the Steelers might have just won the game. I don't know. I'm missing what's going on. Well, of course, with you being the huge Steelers fan that you are, you should know what's happening.
Yeah, it's just that Big Ben is injured. I think this will be last year.
His last, I don't know. I don't think that's how he wants to go out. If he's healthy enough to play next year, he'll probably try to give it one last year. He's almost retired for 4 or 5 straight years, so.
Well, I'm just going to take over this Greg Buck guy because he's wonderful. He's always complaining about how the Indians are losing. And if I complain about the Indians, I'd be better at it. I'd be drunk half the time, though. I don't
understand what this Buck guy thing you're talking about is. We don't have a Buck guy here in Cleveland.
Glenda.
Oh, you're going to wind up getting a job. Oh, have you applied for at the station between 1099 and 1101 on the AM dial to be the Indians post game guy?
Yeah, I did it online.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's actually, something based slightly in reality that a human being could do. Well, all right. Well, that's good stuff right there. So be sure to listen out for Gary Owens. And he after Tribe game.
Owens.
Who?
George.
Oh, George. I'm sorry, Gary. I mean George. So George Owens, and then he's probably going to be your Indians post-game show host on a particular station between 1099 and 1101 next year. So hey, we just gave you a plug, and keep my brother safe and sound there, and all that stuff. And you got anything else for me before I let you go there, George Owens?
I think I saw Mr. Belvedere naked.
Well, okay, I guess on that one, I don't know Mr. Belvedere myself personally, and seeing any man naked sounds like a terrible time.
I also saw him in drag, too.
And that's fine, too. At least he wasn't nude then, unless the drag was just as bad as being nude, like a very scandalous Teddy, or just some type of large women's underwear. So tiny women's underwear. So you got anything else there for me, George Owens?
Go Steelers, go Penguins, go Pirates.
Well, all right then. Thanks for your call, George Owens.
Bye-bye.
All right, goodbye then. Well, that happened. That was something. Let's see. We're about halfway through this here now. This being the Sunday SuperShow SausageFest spectacular show here on Warren Brothers Broadcasting Network. I, your host, Mark Warren, here with you this moment in time. Just want to remind everybody that the Browns game starts at 4:25 kickoff there in Denver, facing a rookie quarterback in his first ever NFL start, some kid named Allen, and he's a bit of a runner first type. So be sure, Cleveland Browns fans, that you pay a lot of attention to our defense. Now, we have a pretty decent pass defense we have thus far this year. We're not necessarily stopping the run all too exceptionally. The Broncos have a very good run team, one of the better ones in the league, between Phillip Lindsay out of the backfield, and today they're going to throw a new wrinkle at you with this quarterback. Now, in these last few minutes here, I think what I want to get to is the fact that the Browns' pass offense has just looked awful this year. And that's not just a look test. That's not making claims of certain guys not getting the ball thrown to them enough. They, quite frankly, are getting the ball thrown to them enough, and they're catching it enough. Guys like Beckham, Landry, and when you're seeing about 7 different guys in the stat sheet with receptions, that's a good thing. That's what you want to see. Ball's being distributed pretty well. I was happy to see in the game against the Patriots this past week that Hilliard had 4 receptions. That's the role that K Hunt will be sliding into, and you'll expect those numbers to grow just a bit more. Hunt will catch the ball some out of the backfield, and he'll work fantastically well as a complementary back to Chubb. And there might be a few games where both guys pick up 100 yards, and not all rushing, but a piece. And it's going to be a nice change of pace to see. But that's not until next week. This week, Broncos have a pretty good run defense. It's going to come down to if their run defense can stop our run offense, and if we can do something passing the ball. Baker's 5 touchdown passes and 12 interceptions are glaring stats. I had him at about 30 touchdowns and 20 picks this year. That's what he's going to end the season with. I mean, he's going to have a relatively monumental effort here in this game and then the second half of the season. This ends the first half of the season. You're at 2-5. You need to win this game in Denver to improve to 3-5. And I believe I just heard that the Steelers won it. So they're 4-4 now. Steelers with no Roethlisberger. The downtrending Pittsburgh Steelers. So much for that, right? Turns out they're playing some good football, which means you, Cleveland Browns, need to start playing some winning football. You have to win. The 2-5, most of us more thoughtful fans had the Browns at 2-5 or 3-4. It goes without saying. I mean, you look at the schedule. The mere fact that we could have won a couple of those games that we weren't supposed to, it's a little bit of a surprise. I mean, if you had beaten the Seahawks, how would you feel right now? Going into all of this. So then you're 3-4, you probably feel better. I mean, I don't know about the Rams thing. I honestly didn't have us beating the Rams, even after it was all said and done. The couple times you shoot yourself in the foot in each one of these games. And we want to just blame Kitchens. There's a lot more to it than that. Baker just needs to be consistent today. Throw for 250 yards, 2 touchdown passes. Chubb run the ball well, 80-plus yards. Get into the end zone once if you can. Maybe score a defensive touchdown too, even. One prediction that I had, the thing going into it, I've given 2 separate ones now. That's the tough thing about doing 3 different shows. So I wind up with 3 different predictions because it modifies slightly as the days go on. Friday afternoon feels like it's going to be 23-17 Browns. Sunday morning on that particular show feels like it's going to be 20-12 Browns. Right now, as it stands, I say 27-13 Browns. No, I don't like that. It's too far of a disparity. But I think us as Browns fans, we need to see this team win a game by 2 touchdowns. Even if it is on the road in Denver. Regardless of what happens, you need to have a good win. An outstanding win. A win that makes you feel like you see what the Steelers keep doing. Every single week, it's a close game. They lose close games. They win close games. Subtract the Patriots debacle that they opened their season with. The Browns, they're one end of the spectrum or another. They've blown out 2 teams. They've been blown out twice. They've played 2 close games. You can't. The Patriots won, even with that being a 2-score difference. It's somewhere in between a close game and a blowout. We weren't crushed. We played evenly. So the keys to victory, same keys as every single other week. Limit the penalties. Limit the turnovers. Force some turnovers of your own and win the time of possession. Some of us guys, we're usually in the younger group here, but we agree with the more traditional way of thinking, and it's certainly not your Greg Brindas as our what was his name? Owen, Orkin, yeah, Greg Orkin or whoever that was who called. Folks like that, and they want to see the big pass plays and the home runs when it comes to the baseball stuff, and that's more than mere baseball terminology. That's in actual baseball, or in the football, is every play is going to be a huge play, a big damn play. That's not what wins the game. Be methodical, run the ball well, and it's not even the simple run pass nonsense. Mix it up. The Browns last week opened up with play action. You've established no run at any point in the season, except for the fact that statistically you are running the ball very well. But it just comes about, people, they know the splits on you. They know it's a 40% run, 60% pass. Start with the run, build into the pass. The passing will exceed the running at one point, and then you will digress back because you have scored touchdowns and you can just run the ball again and run out the clock. And I don't know. It's the only reason why I get kind of sick and tired about talking about football, in a sense, because it truly is relatively simple. This stuff isn't that incredibly hard to grasp. And I think we get frustrated as fans. And mind you, we only reached such and such a level of playing because that's as far as we ever would have gone. Mediocre high school playing, other such things and endeavors that we were able to get into. We only got that far, and we knew that was as far as we were going to go. We're not the professionals, but the game is that simple. It's why you're able to play it, with your buddies when you're a kid. And even now, baseball has that kind of simplicity to it, but you have to have enough space. Football, you can just play on your little dead-end street here. The Henninger Road Studios is on a street that's been shut down for 40 years, and you just play ball games right there on the street. It's technically long enough. It's like a 400-foot long street. That's 130 yards. You got end zones on each side, and there you go. It's a lot more narrow. That's why I would be surprised when I would be on an actual real football field when I got older. And mind you, still a young man, but and I'm seeing how wide the field is, and I'm like, this is like 3 times the width of my street. So, program brought to you by Organic e-cigarettes. With that being said, I've given you my prediction. I figure that the Cleveland Browns are going to win this one. I'm hoping for a pretty quick jump in the first half. Build a lead. When I see you again at halftime around 6 o'clock here, the Browns up. What would feel right? 17-7. If the Browns have a 2-score lead going into halftime, I think we'll be in much better shape. We can go into the third quarter, sustain the lead, hold it, but expect a lot of defense today. I say that now, and the final score will be 42-39. But key points in my last minute here. Look for Chubb rush for at least 80 yards. Mayfield to throw at least a couple touchdown passes. No offensive turnovers and force a couple turnovers on defense, and you've got a good chance of being the victors in this game. So, just stop the Broncos' running game. You've done a fine job stopping the pass thus far this season. The Browns' defense has, and just make sure you have a lack of urgency. You don't lack urgency. Have a good sense of urgency, Browns, and win this damn football game. And with that, we will pause, enjoy the first half, and until next time, this time has been the most recent.